Father Michael Lapsley is an Anglican priest from New Zealand, and shortly after he was ordained, he moved to South Africa, where he became a chaplain among young people at a local school. During that time, he experienced firsthand the discrimination and injustice that many of his students suffered during apartheid. His commitment to human dignity led him to speak out against the government, which expelled him from the country in 1976. While he was in exile, he joined the African National Congress in order to advocate for a more just and humane system. One day, a package containing 2 religious magazines arrived at his door. In between them was a letter bomb. When he opened it, it blew off both of his hands and blinded him in one eye. He spent years healing from the multiple wounds and the trauma suffered from this event. The regime that sent the bomb intended for Lapsley to die. But this story did not end with his death. After a long recovery, Lapsley founded the Institute for the Healing of Memories in 1998 in Cape Town, South Africa. It is an organization that helps individuals and communities tell their stories and heal from their suffering and trauma. While it began assisting people in South Africa, it has helped many others worldwide find new life after their traumatic experiences. Father Lapsley's life is a remarkable story of a person who underwent the crisis of a near-death experience. But through God's power at work in his life, he found a way to turn personal tragedy into a mission of healing and reconciliation. In today's gospel, we hear the story about another crisis. It's the story of Lazarus' sickness, death, and resuscitation by Jesus after he had been in a tomb for 4 days. This is really an incredible story and gives us some unique insights into the person of Jesus, and some of which are found only in John's gospel. First of all, we learn that Jesus was truly human. He had close friends like Mary and Martha and Lazarus. The text says that he really loved them. We discovered that he came to their house occasionally, had dinner with them, and he liked spending time with them. He felt so close to them that he was personally concerned about how they were doing. And even more powerfully, he felt emotion and grieved when he heard that Lazarus died. We learn that he cares, secondly, about people's sufferings. The text says, "And Jesus wept." This is the shortest line in the scriptures, but it reveals so much about Jesus' compassion and empathy. Jesus came to visit his friends when Lazarus became ill. He reached out to them in their pain. He intervened on their behalf, and he restored his friend to wholeness again. As important as the story of Lazarus is, however, there's even more to it than it just being a miracle story. Today's gospel is also about a story that reveals that Jesus is truly God. In John's gospel, there are 7 signs related to 7 miracles. Each miracle reveals something important about Jesus' identity and mission. The raising of Lazarus is the last of the 7 signs, and through it, Jesus reveals to the world that he has authority over life and death. In raising Lazarus, Jesus reveals himself that he is the resurrection and the life. The story of Michael Lapsley and the story of Lazarus are about crisis and how they responded to them. In Chinese, the word crisis is a combination of 2 characters. Sometimes the first word is translated as danger, and the second as opportunity or a critical moment. The Christian scriptures add really a third dimension to crisis, and it is this: believe. The moment of crisis presents a danger, but it's also a critical moment to go deeper with our faith. Especially when we don't see a new way. Crises present crucial opportunities to encounter God in new ways and to grow to a deeper spiritual depth. The letter bomb that Michael Lapsley opened caused a horrific crisis, but it did not end in death. Instead, it brought the opportunity for healing and reconciliation. Lazarus' death was also a crisis, but it did not end in death. Instead, it brought forward the opportunity for Jesus to reveal himself as the resurrection and the life. The scriptures ask us today, where do we go in our crises? Our challenges might not be as dramatic as Father Lapsley's, nor as challenging as that of Lazarus, but we know that Jesus visited his friends Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, and he visited us too as our friend. He cares about our suffering, but especially in our crisis, he calls us to trust him, especially when we don't know the way out or the way forward. Today's readings therefore call us to trust Jesus as we face our life's challenges. This is important because as human beings, we are subject to death in many forms. And death, not just as it comes when we die physically, but also when we have to let go of something valuable and essential. It could come through the loss of a relationship, a job, a position, or our health. Our crises may concern our personal lives, our families, our country, and our world. Whatever our challenges, Jesus reminds us that whatever we suffer, it's not the end or the final part of the picture. While our world today suffers from a crisis of faith, Jesus calls us to live through our crisis with a deeper faith, because our God ultimately is a God who can bring even life out of death.